Michael Stepanian looked up from the blood and muck of his rugby game at a dazzling vision in the sky. A parachutist came drifting slowly through the wisps of fog over Golden Gate Park, his billowing Paisley chute aglow in the afternoon's soft winter light. The skydiver landed in the midst of a sprawling festival that was being held at the opposite end of the polo field, and the crowd instantly swallowed him. Stepanian was a tough young Armenian-American from New York who had recently graduated from Stanford Law School and was now working in Vincent Hallinan's legendary law office. On weekends, Stepanian played rugby for the Olympic Club, the same athletic organization where old man Hallinan played rugby and football and boxed long after men his age were supposed to quit. All through the afternoon, as the Olympic Club rolled to a lopsided 23-3 victory over visiting Oregon State University, the burly rugby players snarled at the long-locked festival-goers whenever they trespassed on their side of the field. But Stepanian, intrigued by the waves of music and good cheer, strolled over to the festival after the game and wandered around in his battle-torn jersey and muddy cleats. I looked like I was from a different planet, but nobody seemed to give a shit. The sun was shining, the kids were beautiful, the music was magic. That was the beginning of my education. It was the human be-in, the January 14th, 1967 celebration that was billed as a coming together of every tribe in the new, emerging America, from legendary Beats to Berkeley radicals to the San Francisco Love generation. For 10 years, a new nation has grown inside the robot flesh of the old, proclaimed the event's starry-eyed press release. The night of bruited fear of the American eagle-beast body is over. Hang your fear at the door and join the future. If you do not believe, please wipe your eyes and see. Years later, some would call this event the true, if belated, beginning of the 60s. More than 20,000 people poured into the polo field that sun-dappled Saturday on the wild west side of Golden Gate Park, where a swaying curtain of eucalyptus and Monterey pine trees shielded the tribal gathering from the raw ocean winds. On stage, Allen Ginsberg, wearing white Indian pajamas and garlands of beads and flowers, looked out over the vast human dynamo that he had helped ignite and turned to his friend Lawrence Ferlinghetti. "What if we're wrong?" It was a typical Ginsberg remark, and its whimsy and self-doubt reflected the better angels of the growing counterculture movement. The radical Berkeley component among the be-in organizers, led by anti-war leader Jerry Rubin, was more certain about things. They sought to enlist the crowd in their political mission, but San Francisco's more ethereal ethos prevailed that day. The leading icons of the emerging counterculture were all gathered on stage: Ginsberg, Ferlinghetti, and fellow poet-shaman Gary Snyder, psychedelic carnival barker Timothy Leary, the Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, Janis Joplin, and Big Brother and the Holding Company. But the more enlightened among them knew that the crowd itself was the center stage. No one was really listening to the speakers and singers. The Jefferson Airplane's Paul Kantner, San Francisco homeboy and a shrewd product of Bay Area Catholic schools, got it. The difference between San Francisco and Berkeley was that Berkeley complained about a lot of things. Rather than complaining about things, we San Franciscans formed an alternative reality to live in. And for some reason, we got away with it. San Francisco became somewhere you did things rather than protesting about them. We knew we didn't have to speechify about what we should and shouldn't do. We just did. The Airplane's White Rabbit and Somebody to Love would soon become part of the Cultural Revolution's soundtrack and make the band world famous. But Kantner knew at heart they would always be a Haight-Ashbury house band, just like the Dead. He later memorialized the Be-In Festival in song.